Tim Salmon, thanks for playing the game. Greg Myers, and watch the break on this pitch to Luis Polonia. Cone would have 7 Ks on the night. Tied at 2 in the top of the 7th. Chris Quinn is on second, and Jose Lean is at the plate. Right back up the middle through the legs. That's the game-winning run. Royals put 3 up, and that is enough for the Cone man, who gets the victory. And he had to be on his game. The Royals have scored 3 runs or less in 17 of his 24 starts. Leftwich, still looking for win 1, pitches very well. Gave up 3 runs and 9 hits over 7 innings. In Oakland under the sun, Mike Bordick took 1 for the team, and it won him a game. He was hit by a Jeff Nelson pitch with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. That forced in the game winner. While Bordick was bumming, everyone else was having a good time at his expense. Manager Tony La Russa said, quote, "That's the first time I can remember that our guy got hit with a pitch, and I..."
Texas 7 back in the loss column, sending legend Nolan Ryan against first-place Chicago. The all-time leader in strikeouts would get a punch-out of a very different sort in Texas. To the highlights of this game, it was 2-0 White Sox when Alex Fernandez comes inside on Juan Gonzalez. So the very next half inning, Robin Ventura, run-scoring single early. He aged 26, Nolan Ryan aged 46. Was he throwing at him? Robin thinks about it and says yes. And watch. And count. Nolan, 6 consecutive punches to the face, and then everyone gets involved in the melee. Ryan just grabbed him like he's gonna grab a steer when he brands him, right? 6 consecutive punches, and then the melee ensued after that. The amazing thing in all of this, Ventura was tossed because he charged the mound. He should have been, but Nolan was not, despite throwing enough punches to get you thrown out of an NHL game. Gene Lamont was rightly unhappy. He got tossed too. Order was restored. Ryan retired 12 of 13 and a big 6th inning. Rafael Palmeiro continues his hot hitting with his 28th homer of the year. 2 hitters later, Gonzalez on first, and Julio Franco cues 1 to right, and it's a double to the gap. And Gonzalez comes around to score what would be the game-winning run. I mentioned Ryan was still in the game. There is respect for a legend, but it was a travesty that he stayed in the game despite throwing those punches. Gets Matt Marullo striking out. He pitched very well in this game, pitched through 7. Got help from the bullpen, including Tom Henke getting Bo Jackson with 2 on, and then Henke closed out the 9th for the save. Texas wins by 3, getting within 5.5 in the West. Nolan Ryan throws career win 322, one that will be remembered for the other things done with the right arm.
I've had a couple of conversations, but nothing of that nature. I think the last one was Dave Winfield back in the National League.
When you saw his moment of indecision, what was going through your mind?
You know, you don't remember what goes through your mind and something like that.
Were you surprised you put him away that easily?
All I know is I was on the bottom of the pile, and it felt like their whole bench was laying on me. I think if I was standing out on the mound and I was throwing at somebody, yeah, I'd think, well, you know, this guy knows I'm throwing at him. But, you know, you're involved in the ball game, and you're trying to make pitches. You're trying to do your job. So, I mean, that's the furthest thing in your mind. You don't even think about it. And if that situation comes up, then you just react to it.
What's your attitude now towards Robin Ventura?
I have nothing against Robin Ventura. That's all in the ball game. You know, that's just part of baseball, and that's what you do, and you go on. And the next time I face him, that won't even cross my mind.
The second round there where you went after Lamont, what was going on
No,
there?
that wasn't Lamont. It was Jack McDowell. He was over his mouthing off, and at that time I'd had enough. And if somebody's got something to say, then, you know, don't stand over behind 4 or 5 players and yell at me.
Wild stuff. For his part, Ventura said, "It was no secret Ryan was throwing at me. I have to protect myself no matter who it is." Ryan leads all active pitchers in hit batsmen. This was his first of the year. Tom Glavine pitching and in trouble. Darren Dalton a shot down the right field line. John Kruk and Dave Hollins score, and the Phillies take a 2-0 lead for Kurt Schilling. Good slide by Hollins to beat the high throw. Schilling in the bottom of the 4th facing David Justice, opposite field. He hits a lot of opposite field homers, doesn't he? Number 26. Braves lead by 1, not for long, to the top of the 5th. Inky, how hot has he been? Not another opposite field homer. He did it the night before. He did it Wednesday night. 5 homers in 4 games. The 14th Philly to hit homers in 4 straight games. The Phils led 8-6 in the 8th. But Greg Olson, he too homered the night before. A 3-run blast in a big spot. He had come in as a replacement in this game in a double switch, all part of a 4-run 8th, stunning Jim Fregosi and the Phillies as Atlanta wins 9-8 Olsen's homer Monday night, or rather Tuesday and Wednesday night, both about 420 feet. After the one on Wednesday, he said, "I'll stop the rumors right now. I'm not using steroids. My bat is not corked." It stops the Phillies' 3-game win streak. Well, did the Giants lose ground in San Diego in a wild game? Barry Bonds, gone. Homer number 33. He leads the majors. He crosses the plate this time and a bunch of other times. He scored 5 runs, tying a Giant record set by Willie Mays, one shy of the Major League record for runs scored in a game. What about Tony Gwynn? He had 6 hits on the night. His 4th 5-hit game. We'll tell you more about that later in the show. The Giants led 10-7, bottom of the 8th. Phil Plantier absolutely uncorks one 2/3 of the way up the pavilion. Rod Beck's first blown save in 24. That was an NL record. To extra innings. To the 12th, and the pitcher, Pedro Martinez, suicide squeeze with the bases loaded, and Ricky Gutierrez scores what proves to be the game-winning run in the 12th. Martinez, who had 2 at-bats all year, gets a crucial one there, knocks in the winning run. And behind 6 hits from Gwynn, the Giants lose. San Diego wins. The Giants now 7.5 ahead of Atlanta in the National League West. This victory snaps a 4-game win streak for San Francisco. More highlights. Now what's going on in the National League East? Did Renee Latchman's Florida Marlins help out the Phillies by beating the Cardinals? Take you to the 3rd. Bases are loaded full of cards. The Marlins pitchers walked 6 batters in the 3rd inning. In the 3rd inning alone. Bernard Gilkey scores there, and Latch says, "I've seen enough." In comes Rich Lewis to face good fastball hitter Luis Alicea, who turns on a fastball with the bases loaded, clears the fence, and scores for a grand slam for Alicea. And Ryan Bowen, the victim of the runs. Alicea said of the slam, "It doesn't get much better than this, except maybe winning the World Series." No. Bernard Gilkey, who made his first ever start at first, also added a solo homer. Boston's Aaron Seeley's unbeaten.
They improve on that. Dave Stewart on the hill, 48,000 there to watch, and Danny Tartabull goes down. Stu, 4 Ks through 4. We're scoreless in the 5th. Gallego, the shot to left center. It goes over the fence. It's his 6th, and the Yanks are up 1-zip. Bottom of the inning, it's 3-0. Mike Stanley comes to the plate, and he also will go deep to left. Devon White, though, is back there. How many great catches have we seen in the outfield? Another one. Takes away the home run. Meanwhile, Scott Kamenecki was on his game. Watch the breaking ball fall off the table, and White goes down swinging. 7 1/3, 2 runs for Kamenecki. Bottom 7th, it's 4-0 with 2 outs, and Paul O'Neill, some insurance off Tony Castillo. Wade Boggs and Randy Velarde both come in. It was 6-zip. They go on to win 6-2. The top 5 in the Yanks order didn't help much. They went 1 for 12. Gallego did have 3 hits. Yanks now 2 back, and the series record at the Bronx is now even at 54 wins apiece. Scott Kamenecki pitched well, but had to leave in the 8th, and they showed up. Minnesota native starts off strong by getting Shane Mack. He retired 8 of the first 9. Then, this a little humor. Winfield at bat takes a huge cut, and you know what they say. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Top 4, 2-0 Sox. Scott Cooper breaking out of a 2 for 26 slump to left, and Gene Larkin is lost. Ivan Calderon scores. It's 3-0 Sox. Bottom 7, 5-3, key play of the game. Brian Harper, it's in for a single. Here comes the play at the plate, and Calderon gets Herbeck. That was the key to the game. Sox hang on to win 5-4. They pull within 2 of the Jays. Seeley becomes only the 3rd pitcher in club history to begin his career with 6 wins. Dave Ferris in 1945, George Winter in 1901 were the others. The Orioles are hanging around. They're 5 back coming in. Top 1, 1-0 Brewers. Bases loaded for Bruno. And Tim Hewlett with a great catch, and he doubles up Reynolds. Bottom 1, 1-0 Brewers. Mark McLemore, he doesn't hit home runs. He does. Only the 8th of his career, and Eldred cannot believe it. It's 2-1 Birds. Tops the 2nd, and John Jaha to 3rd. Hewlett cannot come up with that one, but Cal does, and they get their man at 3rd. Top 5th, 3-1-0s. Juan Bell to left. Anderson plays it in the corner. And Bell, wonder what he's thinking about, goes from 2nd, goes to 3rd, and he's out 10 times over. Devereaux hits his 8th. Greg Vaughn is 22nd of the game. Orioles by 2. 3rd game in a row, the Brewers have blown a lead. They're 22 games below 500 for the first time since 1985. This was a night to close the gap. The first-place team losing and the next 4 winning. Since the break, the Sox have the best ERA and the best record. The Tigers have lost as many as the Yankees have won. We'll have highlights of the Tigers and the Tribe.
His birthday in Montreal. And the the team not helping. Errors by Jeff Kent and Ryan Thompson, and the Mets continue to start in trouble. Larry Walker singled home a run earlier against Sid Fernandez, and Sid's second start since coming off the disabled list after his surgery back in May, and Walker takes him over the fence. Larry's 14th of the year. Sid pitched well, 7 innings, 3 runs, but good defensive help. Not a very comfortable seat there for the rookie. On Dallas Green's 59th birthday, a loss. 3-1, Montreal beats the Mets. Second straight 3-1 win for the Spos. Chris Knobholtz, 3 hits over 8. He's 6-1 at Dome, 1-6 on the road. The Spos are 10 out. L.A. in Houston. The 4th start for the best pinch hitter on the Dodgers. Dave Hansen was helping Tom Candiotti, the second guy you saw in the first inning. Good play and good throw, too, to get the speedy Craig Biggio at first. Pete Harnisch, 2-hitter through 7. Hansen at the plate, Corey Snyder on first. Here's Corey. And the guy who usually hits in a pinch comes up with a big homer here in a pinch, just inside the fair pole for the game-running runs. Hansen's second homer of the year as the Dodgers win 4-2. Candiotti has won his last 4 starts. The Dodgers leap over Houston into third. The Astros continue to leave Pete Harnisch.
Field we go, and it happened early. Hit batter, and it happens often when these two teams meet. Jim Leyland comes right out, and he says it's early, and Jim Leyland is gone. Carlos Garcia was just the second pitch of the game. Top 8, it's 5-4. Orlando Merced takes Sean Bosky deep. Merced leading the league in hitting at .351, his 7th home run of the year. Quietly having a super season. Next batter, Jeff King, and Bosky gets him high and tight, and home plate umpire Jerry Lane says, not going to allow it once, I'm certainly not going to allow it a second time. Bosky and Lefevre get the heave-ho, and the Pirates win it by a score of 6-5. Merced having an absolute monster year, hitting .351, that's some 80 points better than his career average. Meantime, Don Slott was given a 2-year contract extension. Rockies and Reds from Cincy, and Chris Sabo, a grand slam, his 3rd of the season to tie a club record. 10th straight loss for the Rocks, matching the longest losing skid of the Major League season. John Roper gets the win just off the DL. It was Roper who beat Colorado back in his debut and said afterwards he'd seen better lineups in the minors. The Rocks fall short in their
3rd with a strained rib cartilage. He's day-to-day. Oh, nickel and dime from those power-hitting Tigers. Livingstone, the single, scores Kirk Gibson, 2-0 Tigers. Still on the second, Chad Kruger up, Alan Trammell on 3rd. Suicide squeeze. That's a way to get out of a slump. Travis Fryman turning around, a little bit of a slump of late, turns around that pitch to left field. His 16th homer later, he'd homer off of Matt Young, a 2-homer, 3 RBI night as Detroit plays with